What is going on, guys? Rewinds here, and in this video we are going to be talking about Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Manga Chapter 1. And I do want to say, quick little apology for not having this up a little sooner. Normally I'm very quick with these Boruto manga reviews, but I had an extremely busy day with some personal stuff yesterday, so I didn't get around to that until today. But here we are now. We're going to talk about the chapter, and there is a lot to discuss. So let's start off by talking about the beginning. I want to say I really liked the cover page we got, as well as the beginning page that was colored of Sarada as well. I thought that was a great look, and it's cool to see that Ikimoto was able to do that, especially, because we've been on this 3-month hiatus. So it's good that he was able to at least do a little bit more. He also gave us 50 pages this month instead of the usual 40. So we got 10 additional pages. Hey, bonus pages is bonus pages, so we'll take that. But overall, I want to say I liked the chapter a lot more than I disliked it. And to be honest, I didn't really dislike many things. I think I really did enjoy a lot of things. It's the part of me that's kind of feeling iffy about a few things is mainly because we haven't gotten, the explanations for stuff yet. So in my head, I'm just thinking of possible theories of how certain things are going to connect. But at the same time, I don't really consider that a bad thing. You need to let a story develop. And I mean, it could be, a year or 2 years, maybe even, or maybe 6 months, until we actually start getting answers to some questions in the manga that people may have. So we do start out with Sarada trying to convince Shikamaru, who, by the way, now is the 8th Hokage. I did think that he was the second best candidate for the job. My personal expectation, which this did let me down a little bit, is I was really hoping that Kakashi came back, because Ikimoto had said that Kakashi was going to be involved. So I thought that him coming in as the 6th Hokage here could have been the perfect idea. However, if they didn't do that, which they did not, I thought Shikamaru was the next best candidate, especially since he's been heavily involved in the Boruto story. It just sucks, for the Kakashi fans, including myself, though, that he didn't make it in. And I'm kind of wondering now if Ikimoto is capping or not about having Kakashi in the story. So I know the anime he'll be there, but I really would like to see him pop up in the manga, even if it's every now and then. So that's pretty much what happened with that. Konohamaru is actually now advisor to Shikamaru, which I think is great. I think it's really fitting because he is someone who has the dream also of becoming Hokage. So this is showing that this is the next step for him, towards that. However, I still think he needs to show a lot of things, in the sense of why he deserves it, aside from just being the advisor. It is definitely a step in the right direction, though, so claps for, Ikimoto and Kishimoto for heading, having Konohamaru heading in the right direction a little bit. I also want to say I love both of their fits. Konohamaru and Shikamaru dripped out. Both of them. Really cool designs. Really cool fit overall. I really enjoyed that. I also really like Sarada's new design, but I've discussed, her design when it got leaked and all that, because I made a whole video covering that. And most of you probably know I also really like Boruto's design as well. So up until this point of the chapter, we're 4 for 4 on designs. Great stuff so far on that end. And good start to the chapter. Pretty much Shikamaru, though, ends the discussion with Sarada. And it's because apparently Sarada's came to Shikamaru about this issue multiple times in the past. And he doesn't really want to talk about it. So he just tells her to go back to her mission. And Sarada ends up, yelling at both Konohamaru and Shikamaru, calling them fools. Konohamaru tries calming her down, but it doesn't happen. And, Shikamaru just ends up saying that she's going to remain a genin forever if she keeps acting like this and never become a Hokage. Now, this is a little bit iffy, because I initially thought the Boruto anime had Sarada as genin as well, but it turns out in the anime canon arc that she became Chunin. So this is not looking good for the people that call anime canon actually canon, unless you want to consider the manga and anime two different continuities, which you could, but If the anime is smart, I would probably throw in a line about how Sarada got demoted or something like that. That's probably the way to go. Moving forward, yeah, pretty much Sarada, hits Konohamaru with a big one-liner too, talking about how her model is Lord Seventh and not him. Makes it very clear to Shikamaru that she still believes Boruto can be saved, kind of in the sense of when Naruto saved Sasuke. It's like similar to that kind of belief. We then cut over to Kawaki, who also has a sick design. Really, really love his new design, and he's just staring at Naruto and Hinata in this other dimension where he has them. They are unaged, of course, and he himself has aged up, by the way. And again, I did mention this in my full spoiler video, but he has like this crest on his back, and a lot of people are wondering about that. So just wanted to point that out there too. But yeah, Naruto and Hinata unaged, unarmed, pretty much in the same state. So pretty much after that, Sarada and Sumire are seen talking to each other, both discussing that no one will change their mind on the situation, and that they all believe that Kawaki is actually Kawaki Uzumaki. And even Sarada mentioning Momoshiki isn't really changing anything due to the whole manipulation of omnipotence and all that. So with omnipotence, it turns out that logic is sometimes thrown out of the picture, because otherwise the Momoshiki thing would have made sense. To Shikamaru at least, you would think so. So Sarada and Sumire actually end up going to discuss this with Ida. And part of a little, I guess you can say, nitpick of mine here is it's interesting that all this stuff is kind of happening now, because you would think that, across all these years that some of these conversations and such would have happened. Clearly Sarada talking to Shikamaru has, but this whole chat with Ida, even though it sounds like it's not necessarily the first time, it's interesting that they're discussing this with her again right now, or we don't know how many times they necessarily talked about it. It could be just be the second time, or maybe it is the first time, but it could be them just showing us, a conversation that we would have been wondering about anyway. So Ida's pretty much wondering though why neither of them are impacted by the whole omnipotence thing, since they aren't Otsutsuki. And Ida pretty much also tells them to try giving, pretty much completely give up on fixing history. So that's a little bit thrown out the picture now. And then we get a flashback of Shikamaru saying that they gotta make sure that Ida doesn't find out that they aren't captivated by her. So this is something that happened regardless of the omnipotence. It happened in their world, and pretty much that's, everything is pretty much the same aside from the whole Kawaki and Boruto role reversal. That's like the only main difference. We then cut over to Mitsuki and Kawaki talking, and I want to say I love Mitsuki's design too. Ikimoto is cooking right now, for sure. I don't know if Kishimoto came through and really, really helped him in depth or not, but Ikimoto is the one who's drawing right now, and he's doing his thing. He definitely is. Love the Mitsuki design, and apparently now Kawaki is talking about how he's sensing murderous intent from Mitsuki towards Boruto, and Mitsuki ends up pretty much saying that he's going to kill Boruto with his own hands. So the hate Mitsuki has towards Boruto hasn't died down, and I mean, it's probably pretty up there too, because, he killed Naruto in his eyes, and that is, in the current reality, Kawaki's father. So I can see why Mitsuki would be really, really pissed off. And as Mitsuki's pretty much about to talk about his whole line about, how Kawaki is the son, to his moon, and he's kind of saying that with a little bit of a question mark. The sensory division, alerts Kawaki of claw marks that were found outside the village, and Kawaki actually shows that he can fly now, so he flies away towards it, and it's interesting. So a new ability is unveiled, and also I think it is cool though that despite all this stuff going on with Kawaki and Boruto and Kawaki's hate towards Otsutsuki's, Kawaki is really working towards still protecting the village that Naruto cherished so much. So that's probably another reason why a lot of people haven't found any of his actions to be sus at all in all these years, aside from Sarada and Sumire, of course. We then actually cut over to Himawari, who is training with Chocho for a few pages, and I want to say I like Himawari's new design. think it's pretty cool. Chocho got a decent new design too, nothing crazy. Shikadai really doesn't even look like he aged up, but I like his fit, so Shikadai gets a thumbs up for me too. Inojin though, thumbs down. Only time skip design that I don't really like. Whoever, Inojin's barber was, did him dirty. I really think the Inojin haircut is probably worse than Gaara's, and that's saying something. And pretty much then, the trio ends up asking Himawari why she wants to get strong, and she pretty much says that she wants to help Boruto, and this leads them to be in disbelief, and she ends up saying that deep down she feels that Naruto is actually still alive and not dead, and that Boruto actually protected them in the past, so she feels like he would have never killed Naruto. And see, this is where the writing comes into great play. What was once considered a little bit of a questionable moment by the fan base, that being, Naruto not being able to dodge the beams that Delta had while saving Himawari. It is interesting to see, though, that sacrifice that Kawaki had originally made, which is now Boruto's sacrifice, really comes into play here and is impacting Himawari in such a way. So I really, really like that. I like the connection. I think it's good writing. We then cut over to Kawaki destroying a claw mark, and there's some ninjas around, and they're just, talking smack about Code and all that. And pretty much what ends up happening is, turns out Code has actually marked up multiple people. He always puts a claw mark close to the village borders, but he never really does anything, and Kawaki just destroys those. But what, isn't realized is that Code is secretly marking some of these random hidden leaf ninja. So that's where, Code is kind of plotting his attack. So after he's marked up all these people, it seems like at this point his plan is ready to come and play. His soldiers start teleporting through them out the claw mark spots, and right then Shikamaru calls for an emergency evacuation, and, pretty much saying anybody that can fight to rush to the scene. And right then we have Kawaki fighting a little bit of the soldiers, obviously not struggling, but then we also have some scenes of Sarada coming in, charging in with a kick to one of the soldiers, so she's fighting, and then as she's fighting, Code comes out right by that soldier because of the claw mark that he has on the soldier. So Code is now shown with an eye scar. So the question is, who did he lose that eye to? My money's on Boruto or Sasuke, so that's where I think that happened. Code recognizes Sarada and pretty much just says he came looking for Boruto, but Sarada tells him that Boruto left 3 years ago. Code says that he's aware and that he's been chasing him for 2 years, but now he shifted his attention to the village. And Code pretty much says that he's going to draw out Boruto by making Sarada scream, which kind of sus, definitely sus. Code, this guy Code he's something else. He can't even beat the allegations of a W. If you guys look around, everybody's saying that, Code is someone who, he's a villain that's there, he's got his limiters removed and everything, but dude keeps taking L after L, so I don't know, we might need a turnaround for Code's character soon, not gonna lie. But before Code can do anything, Boruto comes in out of nowhere with a stomp to Code's face. Great grand entrance, I really like that. And Boruto pretty much ends up saying that Code's disgusting ideas are why women don't want to, stay by him and want to get away from him. And pretty much to end the chapter, the censor unit ends up picking up on Boruto and says that, oh, Boruto can fly now. Shikamaru notices that. So he pretty much tells him to monitor Boruto's movement, but to prioritize taking out Code and his soldiers. Which makes sense because you want to evacuate the citizens. And maybe Sarada's got him thinking just a little bit. And the chapter ends with pretty much both Code and Kawaki saying, "You finally appeared, Boruto." And now we're left on a big cliffhanger, and Boruto's looking dead serious this whole time. He is looking locked in, not joking around, not playing no games. He is locked in, he is serious. This is a whole different Boruto than what we had seen in the past. And overall, I'm really excited to see what they do with him and what they do with everyone else. But yeah, we'll find out what ends up happening in next month's chapter. Let me know also if you guys think we're going to get a flashback pretty much, and that this chapter was a flash forward, kind of like how Naruto did with part 2, or if you guys think that we're just going to keep continuing on from here. and kind of flashback maybe later, or maybe they'll just let the anime fill in holes, which I'm hoping isn't the case, but we'll find out. Let me know what you think though. Overall though, this chapter was great. I want to give it, I'm going to say, a 9.5 out of 10. Really amazing chapter. Again, there's just a few things that I would have personally changed. I would say 9 or 9.5, leaning more towards 9.5, but maybe a 9. But I do really wish Kakashi was involved. And oh, one more thing before I go. People are wondering where's Sasuke at. You know, a lot of people are thinking Sasuke might be dead. So that's another mystery to find out about as well. But yeah, that's something that I actually think the chapter did good, kind of keeping where Sasuke's whereabouts are a mystery. Whether he's alive or dead is a mystery right now, and it's just going to lead to the fan base speculating for a while, which is nice. But all in all, I do think, again, the chapter is like a 9 to a 9.5 out of 10. I do wish Kakashi had returned, and I do wish that, you know, we had seen a little bit. You would have thought that at least some of these people in the village would have taken a little bit more action by now for, you know, some of the things, but I guess they wanted to show some of these questions and stuff play out in you know, the manga's chapter of the first time skip chapter. So it makes sense, but I'm not really docking much on that. I just kind of wish that a few little things were different, but overall, majority of the stuff was great. Designs were great. The story is looking like it's heading in a really positive direction, and I'm excited to see next month. But that's pretty much gonna wrap up my thoughts. Let me know what you thought of the chapter in the comments below. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. Hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you guys watching this video. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.